Picture this. It's a rainy Tuesday evening in Atlanta, and the Ramirez family, Elena, a 38-year-old school bus driver, her husband, Marco, a part-time mechanic, and their two young daughters, huddles on a lumpy pull-out couch in Elena's sister's cramped two-bedroom apartment. The girls, ages 7 and 9, whisper games under a shared blanket to drown out the downpour, tapping the window like impatient fingers. Elena stares at the eviction notice crumpled in her purse, a stark reminder of the $1,850 rent that jumped to $1,920 last month, a 3.9% hike in their complex alone, mirroring the national creep that zephyrs them here, suitcase hearts heavy with the weight of borrowed space. "We thought we were stable," Elena murmurs, her voice barely above the storm, as she tucks in the kids with promises of our own bed soon. But soon feels like forever when you're crashing on couches, dodging questions from school friends about why home isn't home anymore. This isn't rock bottom. It's the slow slide that 22.6 million renter households know too well in 2025, the ones crushed by housing costs eating half their income or more, turning stable lives into a nomadic scramble for shelter. Elena's family isn't dramatic fiction. They're the quiet casualties of a 3.6% rent inflation surge through September, where every extra dollar feels like a lock clicking shut on dreams deferred. As the rain eases, she wonders aloud to no one, how do you build a future when the ground keeps shifting under your feet? Hang with me through this reckoning, because what unfolds next isn't just Elena's story, it's the unspoken epidemic ripping through urban high-rises and suburban strips alike, where eviction fears aren't headlines but the hush that hushes childhood laughter. This is the renter's reckoning, the unyielding squeeze that, as turning America has promise of a roof over your head into a gamble no family should lose. From the fluorescent buzz of city walk-ups where exhaustion clings like damp walls to the sprawling complexes on the edge of town where hope frays thread by thread. It's a narrative etched in late-night spreadsheets and whispered apologies to hosts who can't host forever. With more than a decade shadowing these shadows from eviction court benches, slick with nervous sweat to community centers, buzzing with makeshift meal shares, I've witnessed how a single rent notice can unravel generations. Today we'll trace that unraveling not through cold charts but through the warm, weary pulse of lives like Elena's, the raw frustrations that fester, the gritty adaptations that bind communities closer, and the tentative hopes flickering against a horizon of housing scarcity. It all boils down to the math that mocks mercy. The Bureau of Labor Statistics Consumer Price Index for September 2025 clocks rent of primary residents at a 3.6% year-over-year climb, the lowest in years but still a relentless tide eroding shorelines of security. That's the index edging from 437.462 in August to 438.322, a whisper of progress masking the roar for those on fixed budgets. Nationally, the Department of Housing and Urban Development projects median rents swelling 4.8% higher in 2025 than 2024, with studios ballooning 5.9% to $1,384 monthly, a figure that devours 40% of a median renter's $50,000 income before utilities even knock. In hotspots like Bozeman, Montana, rents are forecasted to leap 37.4% year-over-year, while even stable markets like Atlanta see one-bedrooms nudge up 0.7% monthly, per apartments. COM's October tally of $1,631 averages. These aren't footnotes. They're the fault lines underfoot. Step into the lives carrying this load, and the weight bends backs you didn't know could curve so far. Meet Jamal Hayes, a 45-year-old warehouse supervisor in Phoenix, Arizona, where eviction filings hit a staggering 14.3% last year, one every 6 minutes. Over a lukewarm coffee and a park bench confessional last week, he sketched his spiral. Rent went from $1,400 to $1,620 to 3.6% on paper, but it was my whole raise gone. I couch surfed with cousins for months, kids' toys and trash bags, explaining to my 12-year-old why home changes zip codes. Jamal's echo rings national. In Los Angeles, eviction notices dipped to 6,337 in September, but totaled 245,599 since 2023. 93% for non-payment, leaving families like his in a limbo of borrowed linens. Or consider Lisa Chen, a 52-year-old retail manager in Boston, navigating Massachusetts. 16.9 filings per 1,000 renters from January to June. I begged the landlord for a break, she shared, voice cracking over Zoom, her backdrop a sister's spare room. But 3,000 plus monthly filings statewide? We're all just numbers now. These tailies aren't outliers. They're the underbelly of a 7.1 million unit shortage for extremely low-income renters, where only 35 affordable homes chase every 100 in need, per the National Low-Income Housing Coalition. Tune into their turmoil, and it's a symphony of suppressed storms, the kind that doesn't shatter but slowly erodes resolve. Jamal's fury flares in quiet bursts. The night he punched a pillow after another no from a viewing agent, muttering, "I work 60 hours, fix trucks for strangers, why can't I fix this for my own?" It's the sting of explaining to his son why sleepovers at Auntie's feel permanent, love laced with the logistics of laundry in a laundromat. Lisa simmers deeper in the exhaustion of repacking lives weekly. It's not the money alone. It's the theft of normal birthday cakes on folding tables, homework under flickering bulbs. I'm angry at the system that says, pull yourself up while yanking the ladder. But amid the fracture, resilience stitches like invisible thread, the kind that turns strangers into lifelines. Elena's crew leans into a patchwork of perseverance, rotating stays with extended family, a couch co-op born of group texts and shared grocery runs that shaves 20% off collective costs. It's chaotic, she admits, sketching a calendar of crash pads. But it's our sisters stepping up, no judgments. In Phoenix, Jamal tapped into roommate roulette via apps like Roomy, splitting a $2,000 two-bed with a fellow dad, reclaiming 30% breathing room for school supplies. Feels like starting over at 45, he says, but with a nod to the buddy system that's halved his commute dread. Boston's networks hum similarly. Community land trusts and shared equity models, as flagged by Urban Institute analyzes, lock in affordable units for 100 families quarterly, while apps like Zillow's Renters Toolkit flag incentives shaving first-month fees by 15%. Rural echoes amplify this. Barter boards for sublets in the Midwest, trading skills for stays. Echoing USDA Community Resilience reports where neighbor packs cut displacement by 25%. Adaptation, though, is no armor. It's elastic stretched to snapping, a plea for props that hold the strain. So many cling to lifelines like emergency rental assistance, which patched 2 million households last year via HUD streams, staving off 30% of filings in pilot zones. Families yearn for scaled-up Section 8 vouchers, covering gaps for the 4 million on waitlists. Or incentives like those in Montana's pilot stacks credits, luring builders to low-rent stock, potentially adding 500,000 units by decade's end. Nonprofits like the Eviction Lab's diversion hubs mediate 40% of cases pre-court, buying time with mediated payments. The horizon? Experts at the Joint Center advocate streamlining permitting to unleash 1.5 million missing units, blending public-private builds that tame that 4.8% median hike to sustainable 2%. Community fridges for the displaced, co-living pods in underused spaces, these sparks could fan into flames if scaled. What they hold for isn't pity. It's parity, a marketplace where a bus driver's shift secures 4 walls, where a mechanic's grease-stained hands grip keys to permanence. As Lisa reflected, folding yet another borrowed sheet, I dream of my girls saying home without the asterisk, just roots that run deep, not borrowed. If Elena's borrowed nights, Jamal's repacked resolve, or Lisa's unbowed spirit mirrored a corner of your own quiet battles, let that echo amplify tap like to echo these truths louder or share in comments the hack that's kept your roof steady this season. And if the renter's pulse races in your veins too, subscribe to the American Pulse and sound the bell. We're weaving these threads into a tapestry of tenacity, one story strong. Yet the reckoning ripples beyond the lease line. Next on the American Pulse, we confront paycheck peril, 24% of U.S. households living on the edge in 2025's wage stagnation. We'll unearth the middle-class murmur, the zero savings terror gripping families where every deposit feels like Russian roulette. It's the silence before the storm you sense but can't name. Join us, keep the pulse steady.